If you think you're being gouged by that croissant you bought near the Louvre for €8, wait until you learn that in some Paris neighborhoods, people pay more than that per square centimeter for real estate. Forget the charming cafes and vintage bookshops. The real Paris is dynastic wealth hidden in plain sight, families so rich they make tech billionaires look like they're just getting by. Indeed, these people don't own homes, they own streets, and their kids don't inherit heirlooms, they inherit postal codes. What's even more mind-blowing is how these neighborhoods operate like countries within a country, where real estate prices ignore the laws of economics, and your great-grandfather's bank balance determines whether you're even allowed to exist. This level of wealth concentration would be illegal in most democracies, but in the land of equality, it's a fine art. Thus, in today's episode of Sir Luxury Travel, we reveal 5 Parisian neighborhoods that prove the French Revolution didn't fail, it just got gentrified. The 8th arrondissement spans 3.88 square kilometers on the right bank, housing both the seat of executive power at the Palais de l'Élysée and the world's most expensive shopping district. The Golden Triangle occupies approximately 12 hectares, bounded by Avenue des Champs-Élysées, Avenue Montaigne, and Avenue Georges V, creating what might be the only geometric shape measured in billions rather than degrees. Property prices on Avenue Montaigne average €18,073 per square meter, making it officially more expensive per square foot than most people's entire net worth. The district's prestige traces back to 1848, when the revolution prompted bourgeois families to migrate from Place des Vosges to these less urbanized western areas. The Champs-Élysées gradually became the center of social life, attracting private hotels, prestigious jewelers, and fashion houses around Place Vendôme. Paul Poiret established his haute couture house here in 1909, creating a magnetic field that attracted other luxury brands like iron filings to a very expensive magnet. Today, the Triangle hosts the highest concentration of luxury boutiques in Paris, where wealthy clients pay between €20,000 and €30,000 per square meter for prestigious addresses. The Arc de Triomphe anchors the northern boundary, where 12 avenues converge in perfect Napoleonic symmetry, while the Grand Palais and Petit Palais bookend the cultural offerings. Foreign embassies occupy historic buildings throughout the district, their diplomatic immunity extending to parking violations but sadly not to property taxes. The area maintains such strong demand for luxury real estate that prices reached record highs, with the lowest recorded at €10,362 per square meter, and the highest hitting €50,690. Business headquarters cluster near the luxury retail, creating an ecosystem where corporate decisions worth millions happen within walking distance of boutiques selling handbags worth more than luxury cars. The 8th perfected the art of visible wealth, a neighborhood where discretion takes a back seat to the kind of conspicuous consumption that makes other arrondissements feel positively modest. Art galleries, auction houses, and private dealers operate from converted 19th century buildings where provenance matters almost as much as price, though both reach stratospheric levels. International buyers flock here for investment properties, treating apartments like portfolio diversification with better views and more prestigious addresses than traditional stocks and bonds. Despite its flashy reputation, the 8th maintains serious cultural credentials with major museums and the proximity to government power that makes dinner party conversations potentially world-changing. Still, for all its presidential palaces and couture houses, the 8th represents merely the opening act before encountering the intellectual dynasties that rule from their left bank stronghold. The 6th arrondissement operates as the intellectual heart of Paris, where literary salons have been shaping French culture since the Abbey of Saint-Germain-des-Prés controlled vast territories across medieval France. This left bank district encompasses Saint-Germain-des-Prés and Luxembourg areas, serving as home to French intelligentsia with the kind of generational consistency that makes Swiss banks look flighty. Current property prices range from €11,735 per square metre at the lowest end, averaging €17,963 and reaching €34,494 at the peak. May 2025 market data shows continued strength with average prices at €17,941 and positive evolution of 5.55% since April. The historical dominance of the Abbey of Saint-Germain-des-Prés, founded in the 6th century, served as the heart of Catholic Church power in Paris for centuries, until the Revolution redistributed both land and influence. Queen Marie de Médicis commissioned architect Salomon de Brosse in 1612 to transform an estate into Luxembourg Palace, surrounded by extensive royal gardens, creating the foundation for the neighborhood's aristocratic character. Since the 1950s, the Arrondissement became home to major post-war intellectual movements including surrealism, existentialism, and modern feminism, with figures like Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, Gertrude Stein, and Albert Camus calling it home. The École des Beaux-Arts anchors the artistic quarter, while the Académie Française maintains its historic dome where 40 immortals gather to protect French language with institutional authority. Art galleries and fashion stores establish this as one of Paris's most expensive areas and one of France's richest districts in terms of average income, forming part of Paris West alongside the 7th, 8th, and 16th arrondissements, plus Neuilly-sur-Seine. Café culture thrives in establishments that witnessed history being written over coffee cups, where existentialist philosophy was debated, and literary movements were born between the sugar and cream. The neighborhood maintains its reputation through a combination of history, architecture, and central location that continues attracting French intellectual families across multiple generations. Private schools serve the children of ambassadors, professors, and published authors, while publishing houses occupy historic buildings where rent exceeds most annual salaries, yet somehow seems justified by proximity to genius. Antique bookshops line streets where Nobel Prize winners browse first editions, their presence lending authenticity to a district where intellectual pedigree matters more than financial portfolios. The 6th perfected the delicate art of wearing enormous wealth like a perfectly tailored vintage jacket, unmistakably expensive yet never ostentatious, intellectual rather than flashy. However, even this bastion of learned sophistication must defer to the suburban sanctuary where former presidents retreat to tend gardens that probably cost more than most people's houses. Neuilly-sur-Seine masquerades as a quiet suburb, while operating as France's wealthiest commune, where the 2020 median per capita income reached €52,570 annually. This Hauts-de-Seine commune sits immediately adjacent to Paris, west of the city and north of the Bois de Boulogne, composed mostly of select residential neighborhoods, corporate headquarters, and foreign embassies. Together with the 16th and 7th arrondissements of Paris, Neuilly-sur-Seine forms the most affluent residential area in France, holding distinction as the commune with the 4th highest median per capita income in the entire country. Property prices average €11,420 per square metre, according to recent data, with ranges from €8,333 at the lowest end, reaching €25,000 at the highest level. May 2025 market data shows prices averaging €12,287, with positive growth of 1.21% since April, demonstrating continued strength despite being technically outside Paris proper. Historical significance traces back to 832 in medieval sources, with the settlement evolving through various name changes before definitively becoming Neuilly in 1648. The Château de Neuilly served as the favored residence of King Louis-Philippe I during the July monarchy, establishing early connections to French royal and aristocratic circles that persist today. Former President Nicolas Sarkozy chose Neuilly as his post-presidential retreat, joining a residential roster including business moguls, diplomats, and hereditary wealth holders who prefer suburban discretion to central Paris visibility. The area combines quiet suburban living with convenient proximity to city center opportunities, offering luxury comparable to the Champs-Élysées and Rue Saint-Honoré, while maintaining the stately grandeur of Paris's most prestigious arrondissements. Corporate aristocracy and old Parisian nobility coexist in this environment where real estate turnover remains low, families owning multi-generational estates that rarely appear on public markets. Elite schools like Saint-Dominique and Lycée Pasteur serve local families, while international schools attract global diplomatic families who require multilingual education for their children. Transportation accessibility via Metro Line 1 ensures proximity to central Paris attractions, including the Louvre, Arc de Triomphe, and major business districts like La Défense. Despite suburban classification, Neuilly-sur-Seine property prices exceed those of approximately half of Paris's arrondissements, reflecting the premium residents pay for space, privacy, and prestigious addresses. The commune operates with municipal efficiency that would impress Swiss administrators, providing services calibrated to residents accustomed to five-star treatment in all aspects of daily life. Corporate headquarters cluster near luxury residential areas, creating an ecosystem where chief executives maintain homes within helicopter distance of their boardrooms and international business centers. Yet Neuilly's suburban grandeur serves merely as prelude to the 16th arrondissement, where French aristocracy established roots so deep they've become geological features of the Parisian social landscape. The 16th arrondissement functions as the quintessential old money district of Paris, long considered the wealthiest area in the city and home to French high society, with the kind of generational consistency that makes royal families look like recent arrivals. Located on the western side of Paris and bordering the Bois de Boulogne, this classic district maintains its reputation for upscale exclusivity through wide avenues, magnificent Haussmann buildings, embassies, and prestigious private schools. The phrase Le 16e became synonymous with prosperity in French popular culture, ranking as France's third richest district for average household income, surpassed only by the adjacent 7th arrondissement and Neuilly-sur-Seine. Current property prices range from €6,951 per square metre at the lowest level, averaging €13,393 and reaching €25,000 at the peak. Prestigious neighborhoods like Passy and Victor Hugo command higher averages around €12,340 per square metre, though May 2025 data shows some softening with prices at €13,303, a negative 3.09% evolution since April. Historical formation occurred through the law of June 16, 1859, which incorporated the villages of Auteuil, Passy, and Chaillot into Paris after they had remained separate communes following the French Revolution. These villages were initially planned to form the 13th arrondissement, but wealthy residents disliked the unlucky number, pulled strings, and became the 16th while transferring the numerical burden to less influential neighborhoods around Porte d'Italie. Cultural assets include the Arc de Triomphe shared with the 8th and 17th arrondissements, Place du Trocadéro with the Palais de Chaillot complex, housing 3 museums and 1 theatre, and the Louis Vuitton Foundation opened in 2014. Major sporting venues encompass the Parc des Princes as Paris Saint-Germain's home stadium, Roland Garros Stadium hosting the French Open tennis tournament, and Stade Jean Bouin serving Stade Français rugby. The Bois de Boulogne occupies significant portions of the arrondissement as Paris's second-largest public park, providing green space that residents treat as their private backyard with the casual entitlement of people accustomed to owning everything they see. Elite educational institutions serve families whose children represent 4th and 5th generations at the same schools, their enrollment applications reading like genealogical surveys of French industrial and political dynasties. Foreign embassies occupy outstanding hotels particuliers throughout the district, their diplomatic status providing immunity from parking tickets, but unfortunately not from property taxes that would make small nations reconsider their foreign ministry budgets. The Arrondissement perfected the balance between visibility and discretion, maintaining enough presence to influence cultural institutions while remaining sufficiently hidden to avoid unwanted scrutiny from tax authorities and social climbers. Conservative families maintain traditions in parishes where marriage announcements resemble diplomatic negotiations between prominent houses, their prenuptial agreements requiring international law expertise. Nevertheless, the 16th arrondissement's aristocratic heritage must yield supremacy to the 7th arrondissement, where political power and generational wealth converge in addresses that literally reshape nations between breakfast and lunch. The 7th arrondissement stands as the ultimate symbol of Parisian aristocratic heritage and contemporary wealth, known alongside the 16th arrondissement and Neuilly-sur-Seine as the richest neighborhood in France. Property prices, averaging 17,876 euros per square meter, establish this left bank district as the second most expensive arrondissement for both rental and purchase in Paris. Current market ranges span from 11,419 euros per square meter at the lowest level, reaching an exceptional 50,562 euros at the highest addresses. Recent performance demonstrates remarkable strength, with May 2025 data showing average prices at 17,683 euros and significant positive growth of 6.82% since April. The arrondissement encompasses the historical aristocratic neighborhood of Faubourg Saint-Germain, representing the pinnacle of French social and political prestige since the 17th century. French high nobility migrated here from the central Marais, seeking clearer, less populated and less polluted environments, making Faubourg Saint-Germain so fashionable that Le Faubourg became synonymous with French nobility. The oldest and most prestigious families built outstanding residences including Hôtel Matignon, Hôtel de Salm, and Hôtel Biron, establishing architectural standards that continue defining luxury residential construction. Following the French Revolution, many aristocratic mansions were confiscated and converted into national institutions, giving rise to the expression "Les hors de la République," referring to the luxurious environment of national palaces. During the Restoration, the Faubourg recovered its past glory as the most exclusive high nobility district while serving as the political heart of the country. The 19th century brought 5 universal exhibitions between 1855 and 1900 that profoundly impacted the district's cityscape, including construction of the Eiffel Tower and the Orsay building. Today, the 7th houses numerous French national institutions, including the National Assembly and multiple government ministries, serving as home to foreign diplomatic embassies occupying outstanding hotels particuliers. Major tourist attractions encompass the Eiffel Tower, Hôtel des Invalides containing Napoleon's resting place, and world-class museums including Musée d'Orsay, Musée Rodin, and Musée du Quai Branly. Jacques Chirac. The arrondissement maintains its position as home to many of the city's rich and famous, while serving as a popular destination for international expatriates, particularly diplomats and international organization officials. Modern demographics reflect continued appeal among wealthy elite seeking prestigious Parisian addresses, with real estate transactions often structured through discrete holding companies and succession trusts. The 7th perfected the impossible, creating a neighborhood where incredible wealth appears almost incidental to the real currency of influence, access, and historical significance. Here, political decisions affecting millions happen during casual dinner conversations, making the 7th arrondissement the undisputed champion of Parisian old money neighborhoods, where power whispers in 17 languages while reshaping the world. While most tourists focus on the Eiffel Tower and Louvre, Paris's true essence lies in these 5 neighborhoods where wealth has accumulated like sedimentary rock. layer upon layer of privilege formed over centuries. The eighth provides the theatrical stage where wealth performs in luxury boutiques. The sixth maintains intellectual capital in historic salons. Neuilly-sur-Seine offers suburban sanctuary for the politically connected. The 16th preserves aristocratic bloodlines in Haussmannian grandeur, and the 7th combines all these elements into the perfect alchemy of power, where apartments routinely command 50,000 euros per square meter and still sell within days of listing. With that said, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you could live in any of these 5 Parisian neighborhoods, which would you choose and why? Thanks for watching another episode of So Luxury Travel. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers!